What's up? It's me, your friend Aspiring Spike.
It's been I've played the card in the past, but it seems nice. Touche. Okay. Good die next turn. We're looking for a Port-Mage off of our Rumble to win our game on turn 3 here. We miss, so I guess I'm going to take this Static Prison. I might try Phantasmal Image. 2 mana, flips it Johnny. Copies Raptor, gets a nice ETB. Off Raptor, copies more stuff, and you don't need extra energy. Most target spells. I have not tried. I have not tried Phantasmal Image and Jeskai Energy. You are making a good case for it. I am a little dubious about the card, I guess, but I'm open to the idea of the card being somewhat playable. Can do some cool loop-de-doopy stuff with 6 next turn. Don't know if I kill the Grist or the Apprentice, because I'm mostly worried about getting combo kill, because next turn I can go... So I'll have 3 energy after I play my Primal Prayers, or I could have less. I could have 4 if I just let the Static Prison go, which doesn't seem too unreasonable. But then I could go Ranger-Captain, Guide of Souls, and then I could use 6 to retrace Ranger-Captain once. Seems like we're playing a more grindy game, so I'll go after the Grist. Yeah, so I think the suggestion was for Phantasmal Image and Mockingbird and Jeskai Energy, not just Mockingbird. And I think that's a good glowing review for Mockingbird in the deck, that it's so good that we're considering also playing like 1 or 2 Phantasmal Image. And I don't know, it could be good. Doesn't Grist just kill prison? No, Grist. This Grist can't kill artifacts enchantments. That's the MH3 Grist that can. Yeah, I should be able to infinite life, infinite energy next turn. So, pay 1. I'm going to be able to surveil, potentially. Okay, so Primal Prayers 3 energy, Ranger-Captain, Guide of Souls, then we can go Greenbelt Rampager, keep responding to the trigger. Kind of surprised they didn't go after a spawn token. It's okay. These are always like the... Oh, so I guess I'm going to retrace with this instead. All right, so Guide of Souls, and then I need to do this a bunch. I need to make sure I don't mess up. But I need to get these Guide of Souls triggers on the stack, and I just need to like leave them there on the stack. So again, this is definitely a better paper deck than it is a Magic Online deck. I already missed stack the trigger one time here. It's okay. I get 1. So we just get to leave these on the stack, gain infinite life, infinite energy. Also, I can cast some stuff too. Yeah, I can even misclick again. At the very least, it's going to be important for me to gain enough life to where I'm not going to die to their Warden Soul Trader combo. Images seem better than the other blue cards you tested besides Mockingbird. Yeah, I agree with that, Pants. I do agree with that. I'm open to trying it. So what we're going to end up doing is Ranger-Captain for Ocelot Pride, retrace Ranger-Captain. after we sack a Ranger-Captain, and then get another Ocelot Pride. Okay, good concession. So we sack Ranger-Captain, retrace, 2 Ocelot Prides, a lot of extra life. What if we went Absent instead and use Sorin to win off the infinite life gain? Well, you lose Port-Mage, which is... That card is really, really good. And, like, does... And, like, is kind of, like, lets you, like, draw a lot of cards early, bounces your stuff for value, and, like... You know... It doesn't, like... It isn't, like, only good if you... are going off, although maybe Sorin has its moments, but there isn't like a lot else bringing you to black besides maybe Acerak. I guess you could. I mean, I just really like Port-Mage and Shrieking Drake, and also this lets you win through the ring, which Sorin can't. Also, they could just kill your Sorin, and then you're like, oh no, this was my plan. Okay, so we're up a game against green-black. I'm gonna play a Haywire Mite. They're gonna have some number of Birthing Ritual / Nightmares. We'll do something like this. Yeah, so the thing is, you can go 4-color. Your mana gets a lot worse, especially if you probably have to cut Ranger-Captain if you're 4-color. But also, you lose Shifting Woodland, and Shifting Woodland has been very, very important so far. For me, it seems tough to become comfortable with cutting Shifting Woodland. Like, we've won a couple times against counterspell decks that the match just became like very smooth and clean because we have these woodlands that it's just all of a sudden if you don't play them, the matchup goes from like easy to like unwinnable, and even in non-control matchups, it's been nice to have. Okay, so I'm gonna bank on finding blue mana either naturally or off Rumble. I think Acerak and Fanatic of Ronus has a synergy alongside Prayers. I mean, maybe. Like, the big problem with Acerak is you kind of need Guide of Souls with it. But I do like the suggestion to also play Fanatic of Ronus and, like, Acerak as a Ferocious Enabler. That's more points for Acerak than I think we had previously. Yeah, Primal Prayers does let you retrace for free. You have to still discard a land. 1 energy, 1 land. I promise it works. Yeah, we didn't lose to Lantern today. We did lose to Hammer. Did lose to Hammer. My shame grows even larger. I could conceivably keep the keep the 6 and like Woodland Primal Prayers, but we'll just do this. No chord for 1, no nothing. Halfling 2 mystery cards in their hand. So I don't have a second blue to go play Port-Mage, bounce a Port-Mage for the card. So let's just get the Primal Prayers down, I guess, and then if we draw a land, I can go Shifting Woodland, copy 6, retrace Guide of Souls. Guess it doesn't do the most. Okay, well, this is fine. Shout out Shifting Woodland. So they got 1 card in their hand. Kind of like 6 there. I think it was interesting. All right, is this a... Okay, I was like a Grist or Yawgmoth. It was the other one. Kind of blanked by my 1/3s, I guess. All right, so draw 2. Certainly not the most powerful, but just kind of nice that, like, you know, we just drew all Port-Mages and we are able to churn through our deck a little bit because of it. It could be good for me to Static Prison or Prismatic Ending the Hapatra here, because if my opponent does Yawgmoth this turn, they can kill my whole board. So that, you know, that's a problem. And I guess I just should have done that. Sorry, I don't know. I don't really know why I didn't. Static Prison for Delirium. Next turn, we already have Delirium because there's a Prayers in the yard. Oops. Okay, probably. Let's just go to game 3. Hitachi, thank you for the 50 months. Appreciate you. A little bit of a punty. Tough deck. The deck needs Ephemerates. Ephemerate's really not that great in the deck. It's like good with Port-Mage, it's good with Ranger-Captain. It's only 8 cards. You can't pay for Walking Ballista with energy in this scenario. I mean, you could Walking Ballista for 0 with energy, I guess, which is not the best. Alright, keeping this one. Why replay Mage at turn over killing relevant creatures? I was just envisioning it being nice to play the Port-Mage and having the mana sink for next turn. But yeah, I acknowledge that it was a punt, for sure. But I don't think it was right to kill two creatures there. I think would have been better to just Prismatic Ending the Hapatra than save Static Prison for a Yogg. Let's keep a Rumble. Maybe I'll go Rumble into Port-Mage next turn, or just save it for the following turn. Black gives us better interaction, which could help us could shore up some combo matchups. Turn 1 Thoughtseize definitely helps us combo faster. Currently just racing. We have Static Prison as like really meaningful interaction against the existing combo decks. If you build up a Blacklist Exire, I'd take a look at it right now. In my mind, I'm just like kind of not envisioning a version that like makes that much sense to me. So I'm gonna get Fountain. I'm gonna do this now before I mill it over. Okay, then we'll grab a Static Prison. Just play out a Port-Mage. Was looking for a Prayers there, of course. We're not quite there, I think, but like if they don't War and Soul Trader combo kill me this turn, and we actually might be exactly there if they play a fetch. They just won't have enough life to Soul Trader combo kill me. We actually might be there right now. I think if they fetch, they don't have enough. But if they play a basic land or Boseiju and they have Gravecrawler Soul Trader, they can. But they're just rumbling. Like Aaron Yeager, they find a Rex Sage, a Woodland, an Apprentice, and a Verdant Catacombs as their options. Do I think the initiative mechanic of Legacy, Vintage, and Pauper Fame adds agency to games? This is. I'm not a big fan of the mechanic. I don't know what you mean by agency. Usually, to me, agency sounds like a buzzword where you want me to say you dislike the mechanic too. I guess I do dislike the mechanic. And I would be remiss if any of those mechanics came to modern, but mostly because these mechanics are designed for multiplayer games. I think the Initiative, Monarch are like fun in multiplayer, and very much not good for 1v1 games. Yeah, definitely a leading question for sure. But I'm not a fan of those mechanics in 1v1 formats. Do you think there's much room with Soul Trader, or is his peak and just isn't a replacement to Yogg? I think Soul Trader's good. I don't know. I'm not sure how good. I think it is viable. It's been something I've been like somewhat impressed with. Okay, let's get a Shrieking Drake. I think I'm just going to put the counters on the Ocelot Pride again, because I just want to gain as much life as possible, so I'm missing like 1 point of damage for 2 more life. Could also maybe sack on upkeep. Would stop like Birthing Ritual, Chthonian Nightmare, Rumble. Yeah, I think it can complement the yacht combo. I think that can replace it. It's fine. When I've been playing Nightmare decks, I've been just kind of cutting the combo from the deck and been liking that too. I've been really liking Fulminator with Nightmare. It's been very powerful. Although there hasn't been as much Tron this week for whatever reason. 2 flying counters on the Ocelot Pride. Do you feel like there's a fundamental issue with Infinite Life as a way to win? I often felt with Heliod it was weird. I mean, the issue is a lot of decks can beat it, I guess. It is also like just much more of a thing in paper than on Magic Online. Yeah, but I would say our Infinite Life combos are not. And if you're talking about this deck specifically, it's not like really the main focus or whatever. Testing Soul Trader together with Samwise combo. That sounds pretty good. We had some success with Amalia and Sam combo smushed together. Playing Soul Trader with Sam seems kind of nice. There are a lot of really important decisions when you play these more linear decks, and calling other people's decks brainless is, very much toxic gamer behavior in my opinion. Vernacular 25, thank you, welcome back. With the exception of blue-white control, of course, which is much harder than everything else. How did the Gen deck go yesterday? We played one league, we 4-1. I thought the list was good. Would play it again. I've not played against Living in a while. I guess let's hope our Rumble mills over some juice. So we have 4 Ranger Captains in the main. We have Endurances and Consigns in the sideboard. Deafening Silence gets Ardent Plea, but not Charlotte's Agent, so we're probably not bringing it in. Yeah, you'll basically never see a PT level player complaining about brainless decks, And one good example too is a lot of people in Modern oftentimes call Tron brainless, but it did super well at PT Barcelona due to like very high level plays and very complicated plays. The difficult sequencing, difficult mulligan decisions. Okay, force on the Rumble. Yeah, maybe an uptick in Living End. We're probably pretty cooked if they Living End next turn. So if I Port-Mage and they Living End, they don't go to exile, do they? I think the cards from the... Okay, exiles all creatures from the graveyard, sacrifice. Okay, it is sacrifice. So it does not seem like just hoping they don't have a Cascader is a very good plan. So I think what I should probably do is try to surveil something at instant speed into the yard for some value. Maybe top deck of Primal Prayers. Yeah, there's a huge skill gap between experienced and inexperienced Tron players. Absolutely. Boseiju their white source and hope it's Ardent Plea in hand. Well, they'll have another white source to get off Boseiju. Boseiju doesn't only let them get basics. But brainless or not, you shouldn't be too mean to gamers who are just out there trying to play decks they like. Solo my opponent, Ocelot Pride. Main deck Endurance. Would they put an Ocelot Pride in my graveyard here? They are. Okay, let's surveil the one game in 1,000 where they just don't have the Living End. I'm going to graveyard that so that if my opponent does Living End, I'm going to be able to go off with this Port-Mage a bit easier at least. I'm not going to play the Port-Mage still. It's just so hard for them to not have one after cycling so much. I don't know that they would Endurance in this way if they didn't, but... Okay. A lot of points in power and toughness, but it's a lot of generous sense. If I can find like a Guide of Souls, could definitely stabilize here. We don't have a lot of looks at one though. Yeah, it kind of has to be like right now actually. So maybe I should have fetched Hallowed Fountain or Island. Should I rumble? So if I rumble, block here, take, or block here, block here. Take 5 plus 7, dead. Block 3, take 9, 12. Okay, I don't know. I don't know, really know. We have to like find Primal Prayers plus Port-Mage or something. Okay, there's the prayers. Not feeling great about our triple chump line. I still haven't built a post-image deck on paper. Looking at MTG decks, win rate looks like Izzet Wizard's a great into Titan. Tron Just Guys seem accurate. Yeah, I think Izzet Wizard's a good deck in general. I think it's not the best deck in the format, but I like the build we played recently, and it's one you can like own and tweak and tune. One I would recommend. Okay, game 2. So things should get better post board. I'm interested in these 8 cards. I wonder if I'm just supposed to cut the Ocelot Prides and the Static Prisons. Seems kind of clean. Should I play one Ocelot Pride? Probably not even. Just want like all the green cards for the endurances. This looks fine. So the problem with Deafening Silence is it stops Ardent Plea, it doesn't stop Shardless Agent. But we have Endurance, Ranger-Captain, Consign, so it doesn't feel like we need the Deafening Silences, so it's like a Hail Mary. Do you think you generally want Subtlety post-board versus Energy in control? This is what I was thinking about. Sideboard plan, in. Surgical Extraction, in. Purge, 2 Snare, 1 Wrath. Out, 2 Teferi, 2 Force, 2 Subtlety. Yeah, typically I don't love Subtlety against Boros. I think you could play 1 or 2 if your sideboard plan allows for it, but I think you would prefer for your sideboard plan to not allow for it. Okay, we're going to keep this with, double sideboard card here. Is Thassa a failsafe or the goal for the deck? Combo killing with Thassa's Oracle, I think, is the main way you win most of your games. But the plan B is definitely the plan B of just Guide Pride, Ranger-Captain, Port-Mage, card advantage is really real too. Although a lot of these games too, like at least the ones where you're card advantaging with Port-Mage, you're still like winning those games via Primal Prayers eventually after you draw into it most of the time. Is Ruby Storm the most all-in combo deck? I guess so. Nadu has more of a plan B. Graveyard's a Subtlety. Maybe they have another one. Can't cast that this turn. It's not exactly super safe to anyways. I think every spell in this deck from Modern Horizons, other than about 8, Port-Mage, Thoracle, Mite, does it sound about right? Really is Modern Horizons format. Sounds about right, I guess, yeah. One funny thing, though, is like this is a deck I tried to build a lot pre-MH3, and then is one that I only really felt like got there post-MH3. Double green source is so awkward. Okay, so I can jam Primal Prayers and be worse against Force of Negation. I can jam Ranger-Captain, or I could just wait until I have 1 extra mana, which just makes things so much safer, so I can hold up the Consign. So I think let's just chill. Okay, deck tech for Carmine? Or Carmo Treen Dream? Ultimate decks for out. Dude, my Chrome has been messing up so much for me lately. It just gets stuck. Doesn't Terraforming get you double white? Nope. I can spend an energy to make. I can cast Ranger-Captain. I can't cast Ranger-Captain with Consign up, is what I'm saying. This one's pretty good. I don't really have a lot of notes on this deck here. I hope that there's like maybe a sound system somewhere. Maybe not a lot of room for a sound system. It's kind of tough to put it under the boards because like bugs can get in there. It could be mounted in the trees without it looking too bad. This one is quite nice also. This one's a little open, but so much shade. Yeah, I need to work sideboard work maybe. Okay, so doing a lot of cycling on their turn. I think I should probably... Let's see if they play this tapped or untapped, untapped. Let's not endurance yet. Okay, nice. So I think I want to jam Primal Prayers over the Ranger-Captain, because we can cast our Ranger-Captain and endurance if this resolves, and if it doesn't resolve, we have the Consign up, which is like, it's like, they have to have Dispute to beat the Consign here, or I guess they could have Grief. I guess if we Ranger-Captain, we'd have endurance up, though. Alright, we'll see if they have the Dispute. Okay, I didn't play around Force plus Dispute very well. Is what it is. Maybe if I was going to commit to casting Primal Prayers, if I drew it, I should have just committed to Endurancing end of turn. If I draw Primal Prayers, I can gain infinite life. Should be a bit of a pain. Canister, thanks for the raid. You're doing well. Been playing a lot of this Bant Primal Prayers deck. I guess Teamer also. Last few days. I think there's a chance this deck is going to be kind of good post Nadu. Hope y'all are doing well. Keeping this one. Port-Mage has been a really big tool for the archetype. Yeah, I finally lost to a real deck instead of... We also Lantern Control yesterday. Trying to give Lantern a actual good matchup, I guess. Okay, so, I mean, we'll see what they do. Yeah, if they're going to play Tron, then we're going to try to find Prayers as soon as we can. So we're going to cast the Rumble. And we kind of brick. I guess I'm going to take this Ocelot Pride. I've been dying to try Recommission Elementals, the new Links card. Well, I think you could play an element. I also didn't even find a land there. I think you could find you could play a build like that. I think it would be pretty different from like the traditional or old school Recommission Elementals deck that you're used to. Just kind of very different. Yeah, like how is the Lynx card? Like I know that Dingo played a little bit of it against me when we did the early access stream. Is that still something people are liking? So let's keep digging for Primal Prayers. There we go. I think I probably will not spend the energy here, just so I can have the extra energy for my Prayers turn. I guess that would actually only really matter if my opponent was gonna like kill my stuff in response, which just seems like not that likely. So let's, I guess, just have a better beatdown plan B. Be like thought not seer my Prayers. Thing seems real nice against Tron the turn they ring you. Yeah, I mean I think that seems like the best case scenario for it, for sure. Okay, well, we were certainly hoping our opponent would tap out. But now we can just combo at instant speed. So I don't really need to do anything. I guess why don't we play an Ocelot Pride as a treat? Should I maybe Ranger-Captain in their upkeep? We have a lot of energy. So if they kill my Guide of Souls, like in response to Ranger-Captain sack or something, which would be really weird for them to do at this point, like not Kozilek command already. But if they did, we could like draw a lot of cards with Shrieking Drake and stop them from casting any non-creature spells. Ruby Medallion, Modern Big Red. We've played like a kind of a fair Ruby Medallion deck once that did look kind of okay. If I have this entire deck besides Pride and Paper, do you think it's even worth messing with? So if you want to play a cheaper option, we built a Teamer build that is much cheaper. It's playing Amped Raptor, Galvanic Discharge, Imperial Recruiter over like the white cards. And that build is definitely playable, or like I felt that it was playable when we were working on it. But I think the Bant's build is a little bit better at this point. Do miss Amped Raptor though. What are the best cyber cards to do with Guide of Souls, also Pride? I mean, it depends on what deck you're playing, but Sun Cleanser, Pyroclasm, Toxic Deluge, Wrath Disguise. So we just got by Culling Ritual. We had a Necro opponent who Culling Ritualed us, and it looked pretty good. You just like Ritual into ring, get him. So the combo does get faster once you get your Port-Mages out there. Boy, I love casting spells for free, I tell you what. Yeah, Pyroclasm can be kind of tough. But what's nice about it is that it is like a two mana option, so it lets you go like 2 into 3. Like just Pyroclasm stabilize into like play relevant 3-drop. So it kind of depends on your curve too. Put Thoracle on stack so they concede. I guess so, yeah. Although I think maybe too often people think we're punting, but even if we misclick, it's okay because we can just pick it back up with Drake. What's the reason for comboing in the upkeep versus just going first on turn? So that is a good question. The biggest thing is there's not really any reason to not go for it in the upkeep here. If we go for it in our opponent's upkeep, we basically blank all of this mana to play around like Kozilek's command. And if they do something to interact with us, then they have to tap the mana on their turn, which would stop them from slamming something big in addition to doing something to stop the combo here. So it is kind of, nuanced, or it depends on, kind of situationally should you go for something at instant speed versus sorcery speed. But in this spot there just isn't really any reason to not just pass and do it in their upkeep, because it costs nothing for us. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bring in 4 copies of Consign to memory. And then I don't know if I want the Haywire Mite or not. I think I want to play some amount of Static Prisons. This Transform is kind of awkward against Karn, I guess, too. Try this. I'm going to Consign into turn 3 Prayers, potentially. Although there's a good chance we Consign on turn 2 instead. It is possible that White Orchid Phantom would be a better sideboard card than Consign, or maybe a split. Would I have consigned that? Maybe. Top decking 2 Prides is kind of wild at this spot. We get to play Delver with them. See if they got a power plant. Yeah, that is one thing I liked about the blue Eldrazi deck, is getting Consign in the mirror is really fun. All right, so let's look for Port-Mage. I mean, what when the deck gives you 3 Ocelot Prides by turn 3 when none were in your opening hand, you probably just gotta listen, right? You probably just gotta listen. A lot of spawns. Could cast an Emrakul. Oh, actually, not quite. Well, not the 15-mana Emrakul. The other ones. None of these Ocelot Prides were in my opening hand. I'm really liking this deck. Might be the first paper deck I buy. I'm probably gonna not play any modern RCQs till after Nadu's banned. Fingers crossed. But this might be what I register first. Especially because this deck is going to be better in paper with the infinite life stuff. Deck's also just super fun. What happened to Fnatic Eldrazi? I don't know. I mean, I like the deck, and I would continue to keep playing it, but... I'll go to 5, I think. But I don't really have, like, updates, you know? Updates or upgrades. I just kind of... I feel like the list is like pretty good as is, and is pretty powerful and an option that I would like to play. And what we do on this stream is we're always trying to brew and innovate and try new things as often as possible, and with the highest quality and quantity as I can do, which is varying, I guess. And sometimes we get a deck to a point that it just is kind of nearly solved or doesn't have like big upgrades, and we've also played a lot of it, and this is, I think, what's happened with the mono green Eldrazi is the deck is very close to solved. The metagame is kind of stagnant. I just wouldn't change a lot about it, so I'm just more interested in working on different decks and tuning different things, and we usually do circle back to things. But just because I haven't played a deck in a while doesn't mean I don't still like it. Yeah, except for the Trophy Race, which for sure will happen again. What was my last 5-0 deck? Was it the Wizards deck? Might have been Wizards. We keep 4-1ing with this one. Alright, I'm graveyarding there. Happy with that top deck. I think I get Fountain. Could be right to get Plains there, though. Definitely want to get a white source for Ranger-Captain. But I have Shrieking Drake in my hand, so might need the extra blue. Alright, might be losing to our Mold of 5 here. Although it's kind of fair, because the last time we played against Energy, they Mold of 5 game 1. So we're evening that out, I guess. Should have conceded before the Thoughtseize resolved. I don't know how obvious it was that was Primal Prayers. Which version of Mono Green Eldrazi do you consider superior, with Flare of Cultivation or without? It's kind of an interesting question, because I don't really consider the Flare of Cultivation deck to be like this. It's not the same deck as the Fnatic of Ronus deck. They're two very different shells to me. And I actually do really like the Flare of Cultivation deck. I think it's pretty high variance, and so I've been wanting to maybe... So the way that the Flare of Cultivation deck is built right now is it's high variance, but super explosive and super hard to interact with. And so if you're drawing your top like 30-40% of draws, or like getting to them kind of consistently, you're going to be doing well. But it is a deck that, because it's pretty high variance, you can run bad with. So I'm trying to figure out like how reasonable it might be to pull back on like the Elvish Pioneers specifically, pull back on like the higher variant stuff, and make it a little less explosive for a little bit more and a little bit more consistent. So, I'm not sure exactly how we would do that, but I would probably say the regular Eldrazi build overall. To actually answer your question, something I rarely do on this channel. I'll probably go Pending plus Surveil Land here. Well, maybe Static Prison's better because of Sun Cleanser. Just typically don't want a Static Prison super early. Okay, not very good for me, I think, how long it took them to tank on Guide plus Pride here. Kind of scary. I'll keep another Rumble. Actually, I'd like another Rumble here a lot. Well, because I'm taking Guide of Souls. I might have taken a White Source over Guide of Souls so I could go get rid of their Guide of Souls and offer the trade of Ocelots. Would Ring be good in this style deck? We could Rumble into it. I don't think there's like really room. It doesn't feel super necessary, but I probably would try to not play the Ring in this deck. So they played a Godless Shrine game 1. I'm not really expecting to get Blood Moon here. Sometimes Mardu does play Blood Moons though. Yeah, I do miss Sam Traptor for sure. Teamer definitely see it. Teamer's close. We'll play another League of Teamer at some point. Okay, so it looks like we're gonna try to ignore this and combo off. Two cards in their hand. Interesting draw. So I think I do this so that I could Static Prison this turn. So we get to Surveil again. We also have Infinite Life next turn. Infinite Life is a good amount of life, and in paper we could feel super happy because we're just going to get to basically lock in the win next turn, probably. This is not paper. Oh, also, we maybe won't have our 4th mana anymore. So now if we find a land on top, we have to keep it. Rumble's actually pretty nice. Try 4-color combo all the good cards. Well, I've definitely thought about it. There's some issues. Like one is like if you just play Amtraptor at this shell, because you're not playing Tune the Narrative like in the Teamer shell, you're going to brick on it more often than you would want to. It's not super obvious what to cut, but also like your shifting woodland plan becomes a lot weaker, which is another I think big issue. Not the best land to hit. I guess I could have just grabbed Ocelot Pride and like kind of banked on this living. I don't know if that is correct though. Could Azuria's Tempo with Archmage's Charm be viable? I do think like a building Murktide with Guide of Souls and Ocelot Pride is kind of interesting, or like a Tempo shell. I've tried a few times, and for me the biggest problem is that your 1-mana removal spells kind of suck, and I don't know that you can play Static Prison with only Guide of Souls as your energy card. But maybe you could play something else too. So I guess we should play around Bolt and Flage with the block, which is another reason to get the forest. I feel like it's just easier to get Guide of Souls in the Teamer build. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. It is pretty awkward to splash a 1-drop and your woodlands are worse. I did spend some time on it yesterday and got a little stuck. Alright, so in paper, this is a win. On Magic Online, we get to have some decision points. Yeah, Ranger-Captain is a good draw. This is going to allow me to end up with a bunch of Shrieking Drakes and an Ocelot Pride. The low curve on the rise would Path be good? There's just too many better removal spells than Path. And Path is pretty bad. And like when I say blue-white Murktide, I don't think you would actually play the card Murktide Region in the shell, but you might. Good catch, chat. I do think that this build is almost definitely better in paper because of the infinite life combos. But on Magic Online, a little bit more dubious. Opponent says we can play with you at infinite. Thank you. So they're thinking they might deck me, I guess. So I think what I should be doing in this spot is like leaving one Shrieking Drake in the deck. Maybe I just want to leave all of them in there. Why not cap to draw the entire deck? That's not so we can't do that. So Shrieking Drake can pick itself up, right? And that lands us gain infinite life. But we can't. If I pick up the Ranger-Captain, replay the Ranger-Captain, which I could do, and I guess I probably should have done and just grabbed the second Ocelot Pride now. But I can't do the whole deck here. I don't have a Port-Mage in play. I need a Port-Mage in play. So here their plan is to Nightmare Flage a lot and control my board. So let's see what they target with the Flage. They target the Guide of Souls. Okay, a little bit of an early concession, but I understand that me playing as if I'm in Infinite Life is weird. I appreciate it. Do I want to bring in Haywire Mite for Nightmare? Maybe. I think I could trim maybe a removal spell if I'm going to do that. Would playing Innkeeper over Transformer and Teamer be worth it? Gives the deck an Infinite Life combo. I think that's a good suggestion. Prosperous Innkeeper is kind of like, it's kind of a card that has like a blank in my mind. In the sense that like I just feel like it like should be in a good amount of lists I play, and I just always like forget about that card. But yeah, it seems like at least one would be correct in that build for sure. I like this suggestion a lot. How could they win? They would win by Nightmaring Flage, just kill all of my creatures every turn, and I'm at infinite life, but I have like 15 less cards in my library than they do, so they would just kill all of my creatures, and that would be how they would win. So them hitting Bowmasters means I'm not going to try to value Port-Mage very aggressively. Okay, Rumble looking for Ranger-Captain, Rampager, or Guide of Souls. Find a 6? I'm going to take a 6, I think. Over the Static Prison. Remember that Bowmasters doesn't actually stop Port-Mage comboing. You might think that it does, but you just respond to the Bowmaster triggers, draw your deck, and play an Oracle. But you can play Thassa. Oh, right. Well, I guess I could draw Thassa's Oracle, and they could Thoughtseize it before I actually get to use it. But that is a good point. Okay, so that's a problem. For sure. We have some answers to it. So I'm going to play the 6 this turn since I could retrace this Static Prison. If I draw land and 6 a land, I could retrace Static Prison on some cleanser, play Primal Prayers, combo off. Kind of asking a lot. Okay, so this attack signifies that they have Lightning Bolt. This is 3, or Flage. So this is 3, 4, 5 damage. I would be dead to 2 bolts. I really need this 6 to live, so I think I'm just going to take this hit. And I even have the chance to just untap and win, too. Static Prison gains energy. Not with Sun Cleanser. Or does it gain energy against the Sun Cleanser? The timing is like a little bit weird. I think it does, actually. Okay, if we draw land and find a land off 6, we win. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit more complicated. Okay, it looks like it's going to be a bit more complicated. Let's attack. Not a land off the 6. Devastating. Okay, so we can go Guide of Souls Port-Mage with the ability to go block, and die to another bolt or a flage. I think instead of doing that, I'm going to go ahead and cast a Rumble here, which also gives me life. I don't find a land off the Rumble. So that's 8 looks without a land. So I'm going to go to 5 and not be dead on board, but be in pretty bad shape. Not dead. What you're missing is there's a Sun Cleanser in play. Why we didn't combo there. The Sun Cleanser stops me from comboing. And we're dead. Okay. So let's finish this league up real quick, and then also shout out to our opponent for treating it as if we had infinite life. Then we'll play some Esper energy after this. Let me pull that list up real quick. Yeah, we had infinite game 2, and I gotta give it to him. Okay, keep a Rue, put back second prayers, I guess. Could have been worth to bounce 6 to have another blocker. Probably not. We need the 6 in play to win. I think we just need to hope our opponent's hand is not very good there. After we break down the land on the Rumble. So yeah, I've been very excited for this one. What's more fun, Team or Energy, Bant, Energy Allure? It's close, I think. It's maybe kind of subjective. For me, I really like to play Amtraptor. There's basically no card for me that's more fun than Amtraptor, so I guess I picked that one. Second Port-Mage is okay, but we need to find Ranger-Captain, Greenbelt Rampager for Ranger-Captain, or for Ranger-Captain for Rampager. Yeah, I was also looking at trying to build that archetype. Trying to build the Mockingbird archetype with Death Shadow, but yeah, it doesn't really seem like there's much point. So it's like just goes so much better with the white cards. And also, it's like if you try to play Death Shadow in this deck, Death Shadow is just the worst card of the deck by like so much. Are we dead? We might be dead. I would say that Damping Sphere is worth bringing in against Primal Prayers. It makes it like where we can't combo, but it's to some extent it's kind of like bringing what's the word? What's the card? The 2 mana activated abilities can't be activated unless they spend two more mana. Like it's like playing that card against Nadu. It's just still pretty possible for them to go off. Okay, so we're dead on turn 3. To prowess, we're gonna bring in the pendings. I think just the pendings. Not gonna bring in endurance. I think. I'm working on a creature combo deck with 2 creatures that are 3 drops that both combo. Would company be a good choice to use to get both cards out? It could be, and it could not be. It kind of depends. If it's 2 cards that win the game immediately together that you hit off Coco, it's probably fine. Not Deafening Silence. I'm not sure about Deafening Silence. I've had like pretty mixed experiences, but I guess if they're on Assault Strobe, then maybe it's worth bringing in. You will live. Ocelot Pride, you're going to live. Too soon to get lava darted. Nice. Death Shadow deck is good against Jeskai decks and blue, black, and blue, red. I don't doubt that you could win with Death Shadow decks in Modern, but what I'm trying to say is like when you play a deck with Death Shadow in your deck, Death Shadow is the worst card in your deck. Like it's very difficult to think that it isn't. I think, and I think it's very difficult to like argue that there like it's not the worst card in your deck. It's just like a 1-drop that you can't cast till turn 3, and boards are getting really gummed up right now. It's hard to get through. Yeah, Mockingbird on Shadow is cool. I agree. But like the card Death Shadow isn't like particularly good against blue, black, or Jeskai either. You know what I mean? So this is 7 permanents, so I'm not going to quite get the City's Blessing. I think I'll go ahead and upkeep sack the Ranger Cap. Oh, good thing I'm bad at counting, I guess. So your video on Team of Prayers, you're going to be working on Bant Prayers again. Seems very close to the list. Why 4 Drake over 4 Greenbelt? So Drake is mostly better than Greenbelt is why. If you just have Port-Mage in play, it lets you draw cards no matter how much energy you have, which is important to like churn through the deck. It also protects your combo pieces, which is a really big deal. It's also like if you don't have your combo and you have Guide of Souls, a lot of times you just go like Ranger-Captain into Shrieking Drake, gain infinite life, pick up Ranger-Captain, get Ocelot Pride. That's pretty common. And then it's just mostly better. It's just mostly better, I guess. Although here we're going to win the game with the Rampager. So I don't know. They are really close. I was thinking a little bit you could maybe go like 3-3 split or something. We lost the game earlier this week because we had Greenbelt instead of a Drake. That's true, yeah. Although we did punt. So so like these are my reasons for playing more Mockingbirds or whatever. So if I'm gonna combo off at instant speed since my opponent has the ability to interact with my combo with like bolts. Greenbelt doesn't need the guide to go off, which is nice. Yeah, I agree that that's nice. But like one thing too is it's like if you do just have only Port-Mage and Rampager, or sorry, Port-Mage and Shrieking Drake, it's not like you're in a bad position most of the time. You still get to like just draw a lot of cards and then win the next game a lot of the time. But I understand like why. Like I guess that is the argument for Greenbelt Rampager instead. Very funny to combo off with double Ocelot Pride triggers on the stack. I also love it's very hard to misclick with this deck because you have to like confirm that you're casting with the energy. I was thinking about the Wizards deck. I replaced Kitsa with Harmonic Prodigy. The Harmonic Prodigy is interesting. I actually wanted to replace Kitsa with one copy of Sapphire Medallion, where it's like, I feel like the first copy of Sapphire Medallion in the deck is so sick. It's like Snapcaster costs 1 mana, Otter Bolas, Augur Bolas costs 1 mana, Flame of Venor costs 2 mana. It's like, I think that the first copy's got to be correct to play. And I was thinking for mana curve, you would just cut Kitsa. How about Pandemonium for direct kill? I don't know what the card Pandemonium does. We have a direct kill in Thassa's Oracle, and I have a hard time imagining Pandemonium is more effective than Thassa's Oracle. 6 over Witnesses, pretty cool. I was wondering how to recruit prayers if it's discarded countered. So obviously 6 does that, but the main way you do that is actually Shifting Woodland. Shifting Woodland is like you just copy your Primal Prayers in the yard and laugh all day. But yeah, I do think 6 is just higher card quality than Witness and does the same thing of getting back your Oracle if it loses. Yeah, that card is 4 mana enchantment, so it costs 4 mana instead of Oracle, which cost 0. I will say EDH players, they love to come in here and suggest like Perforos, Impact Trippers type cards. There was one chatter when I told them I didn't want to play Impact Trimmers. It was so upset. So upset. What was the new meme? I'm a big critic. So Rampager is basically always fine. The only exception is you have a bunch of energy lying around. Yeah, that's going to happen a lot with your Guide of Souls stuff. Oh, it's still like a 1 mana 3/4. Think Omniscience Woodland would be good after the bird? I don't know. I've been, thinking a little bit more about that archetype. We did get another Rumble type effect that's worse, but it's instant speed, which is kind of interesting. Doesn't give you a spawn though. So I've been looking a little bit at it again. Is it unusual for them to have it played out? I think most opponents. So I play a lot of different combo decks and stuff. And typically the general my general experience is that if you're playing a combo that people are not very used to playing against, they're going to make you click through it because they don't really know what's going on, or they're just not used to conceding to this deck. My opponent also said, "Hi, chat, good luck," and I think some opponents have the attitude, oh, Spike is streaming, I wanna make sure he gets to click through his combo for the stream, and I sincerely appreciate that attitude, and I love you, but feel free to concede. I don't want to click through the combo. I'm a big critic of Spike too. Yeah, I mean, that it was your comment that the meme came for Fax. What does that mean, Fax? Does that mean when you're like on a Reddit forum, you're typing, you're like, what does "you're a big critic of mine" mean in your day-to-day life? It's that you what does that mean to you? What's the instant Rumble effect? I don't know what it's called, but it's 2 mana, same mill 4, put 1 permanent into your hand, the rest into your graveyard. But if you control a squirrel, or if you or put a squirrel into your hand, I don't know if it's milled squirrel or put it into your hand, you get a food token. What does that mean to you? Cash grab, thank you. Such a well-named card for me to forget the name of. Alright, nice we drew this so we can get basic planes here. It means I don't take your opinion to be infallible. I don't go say Spike said so much. Yeah, that's totally fair. To me, it's just funny. it's just a funny way to phrase it, you know. I'm a big critic of Spike. To me, it sounds like we're in the forums, you know, arguing. But I know, but just this is something that I've come to learn more and more is the it's like the tone on the internet and my voice is just always so. It's just not ever as mean as chatters are trying to convey. You know what I mean? But the voice I hear in my head sometimes when I read a comment is just inherently meaner, you know. Am I still high on Ranger-Captain and Boros? I think that there's I feel like I'm taking crazy pills because I think it's so clear that Ranger-Captain is better than Fable and Boros, and I've been saying this for a while. But it's like the only card that allows you to not be like so dead to like Ring Loop, so dead to Wrath the Skies, so dead to like Storm, Living End. Game 1, while I get, you know, Tron helps with some of that stuff, but Blood Moon helps with some of that stuff, but Ranger-Captain is like so good, and it is also a better grindy card than Fable because it lets you set up for this the guide Pride stuff, which it gives you a better late game against energy. It's definitely better in the Chthonian Nightmare shells, in my opinion, and it is just wild to me that people just don't seem to be adopting it. Fable's a red permanent for a Johnny was something someone said today, which is certainly, you know, true. But I think I'm all about that Ranger-Captain, you know. When I went to the energy players, they told me Ranger-Captain is unplayable. Yeah, you know, this is an opinion for sure, Z's, and I would say that if people typically aren't going to like engage with your point very much beyond just dismissing something as unplayable, they aren't going to like type out why. Like, if you think it's unplayable, like, with Peace and Love, you, like, I just think you're out of touch. So I'm gonna get Shrieking Drake to go with my Port-Mage. I think you're a little out of touch. The card is certainly an option in the 3-drop slot. But if you can, you know, if someone can give an argument on why they think Fable is better than Ranger-Captain, what they think, that's I would love to hear it. And, you know, a red permanent for a Johnny is definitely one. But in my opinion, Ranger-Captain is the better grindy card that also is like the only thing that gives you equity, resilience to Wrath of the Skies, Ring Loops, beyond Blood Moon. They didn't dart my cat. But yeah, I can be wrong about this, of course. This is my opinion on Ranger-Captain. I could be wrong. But I've also, like, I've just been playing a ton of Ranger-Captain builds, and like just kind of just never really. I'm about to play another one too. It's been so good the entire time. Like, if you've been watching the stream with Ranger-Captain, you're probably a fan. Okay, so 7-3 on the day with Bant energy. We are 11-4 overall. Liking that list a lot. I think there's a good chance it's going to be like a real player post Nadu ban. We're probably not going to play it for a little while unless there's like some big upgrades or if I can build a 4-color build, but I like that list a lot. So here, you know, this is kind of an evolution of the Jeskai energy deck we built, where Mockingbird was great. Mockingbird was so good in